We're back, squad, with the Kitchen Hook podcast. Shout out to Bush for that name. We're going with the Kitchen Hook podcast from here on out. I think it feels right. It feels right to us.
It sure does.
For those of you that don't know, I'm Tate. Tate Hilgenkamp. This is my buddy Thomas Bush. We're bringing you the goods today with the Kitchen Hook podcast. Going to recap a little bit of the RMAC. We missed the first round. We wanted to do this episode before the first round of the RMAC tournament. Wasn't able to do it. That was played last night. So we're going to kind of recap a little bit of that quickly and then go into the semifinals and then get into some more NBA type stuff. So
Absolutely.
Bush, talk to us about that first round a little bit.
Man, it honestly went the way that we kind of thought it was. Besides that Shattered Minds game, honestly, I thought me and you both had a feeling that Shattered was going to pull that one out. But at the end of the day, it is Colorado Mines. I didn't expect them to win like they did, though. I thought Shattered would put up a little bit more of a fight because they lost by four. Lost by 4 a couple weeks ago in Golden. So I was like thinking, But I was looking at the stats. They held Bryce Latimer to a low night. He was well under his averages. There was a bunch of guys in single digits. So I think that Mines really knowing Pryor, man, he had a scheme ready for him.
Yeah. No, they certainly executed what they were trying to do on defense.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, Shadron played Colorado School of Mines in that first round. Fort Lewis played Regis. They got them. Was a fairly close game for a little while.
As expected.
Yeah. And then who did I miss?
BH beat Westminster. That was another pretty close game, a little run in the second half.
Kind of a game of waves. It was
absolutely
BH. It was close at the start. BH went on a huge 3-point barrage. We were texting through that, huh?
Yeah, that was. I remember seeing your text like, "This is beautiful basketball." I was like, "Yeah, absolutely."
It was pure. It was pure.
They figured it out, man. I think they'll be just fine.
And then Mesa beat Metro. That was one of our games we were wanting to watch, or a game we were going to highlight that we thought Metro, might beat Mesa, and they hung with them. They stuck with them. I talked to Coach Glover tonight. Shout out Coach Glover. They're the assistant at Metro, and hats off to them. They had a good year, but they gave it a run and didn't get it done.
I look for Metro to be pretty solid in the coming years, though, with Glove on the sideline, man. He knows what he's doing over there.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna get it rolling. But Bush, talk to us. What do you think about the semifinal matchups here coming up tomorrow?
I guess we can talk. We'll talk about BH and Fort Lewis first. That's BH 16th in the nation right now. The rematch of the rematch. And Fort Lewis is 10th, but very similar records: 28-5-4 BH, 26-3 for Fort Lewis. Mm-hmm. Honestly, like the first game really was all Fort Lewis at the start, dude. They were hitting threes out the gate. They didn't miss. They were up 30-8 in the first 9 minutes and led by 26. The big thing in that game, I was looking through stats though, is Joel had 26, Matt had 5. Yeah, he had 5 points in that game. So they did a good job and Fort Lewis had 5 guys in double figures. So they did a good job of covering the second and third guy on their team, and that's one of the keys I actually have in this game, because in game 2 it was Q Mays for Fort Lewis that went nuts, dude. He's a great point guard. He was had 26. Matt had 15 in that one, but Joel only had 17. And I think my keys to the game on that one are the fact that you got to get to free throw line. Looking back at both games, BH only 8 free throw attempts to Fort Lewis's 23 in the first game, and then 9 attempts to Fort Lewis's 22 in the second game. So BH needs to do a better job of trying to get Boat and LaRose in foul trouble. I think if they do a better job at that and getting to the free throw line, getting easy ones that they can they can help them win the game. But it goes both ways. Fort Lewis, if they do a great job of getting to the free throw line like they have in the first 2 games, that's going to help them out. Second chance points, and like I was saying earlier, whoever contains that second and third guy. So like Matt and PJ, second game, PJ was 0 for 2, no points. He only got 2 shot attempts up. Mm-hmm. And I think Fort Lewis did a great job down the stretch at containing the role, like the second and third scorer on BH.
Yeah.
So whatever team does that, but at the end of the day, we both know it's hard to beat a good team 3 times.
Yeah,
and it's a neutral court game, so this one's going to be a little different.
That was going to be one of my points, neutral court. Real quick though, Bush just gave us a whole scouting report, so thank you for that. I don't know if you have a hard copy of that, but if you could put that in the show notes, that'd be fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
But on my one of my points, neutral court was one, but it kind of plays into what you said of getting to the free throw line. I think Black Hills did a great job of getting the basketball to the paint, not necessarily scoring in the paint, but it was collapsing the defense, and that was when that barrage of threes was happening for Black Hills. So I think if they're able to slice and dice their way into the paint like they were against Westminster, they'll have a good shot. But that Fort Lewis, I think they're a little more solid defensively on the perimeter with Q Mays, like you said. Kotz, he's quick, he's a little bit longer out there, but it'll be interesting to see if BH can get into that paint and play into what you said of getting to that free throw line.
I think, too, going off your point there is Fort Lewis, we talked about this on, I think, the second episode. Fort Lewis is very good at isolation, like breaking your guy down. Obi Agbum is really good at that, too, that freshman. He's solid. So,
is he a freshman? He was at
Metro
that's right.
First. That's right.
He was at Metro, so I think he might be a sophomore or junior at this point.
But he's good too. So
yeah, he is.
I think that was the biggest thing when I called you about that BH Fort Lewis game, and even I spoke to a bunch of other people about this. BH really fell into the let me play iso ball with you guys down that last 8 minutes. They led it 62-51 with 8 minutes left, and then they started getting into that isolation stuff. And Fort Lewis is much better at that. They closed on an 11-0 run in that game. So if BH can run their system for 40 minutes, which I personally think they do, and my pick is going to be BH. I think they're gonna get them this time. I just
roll jacket. Let's go, baby.
I've talked to a couple of them after this weekend and stuff, and they're locked in, man. They know. Yeah.
Did you give them a pep talk?
No. I just great job, man. Good win.
Yeah. More. No, I'm with you. I think they get that one at the neutral court. Move on to that next game. What do you think about that next game between Mines and the top seed Mesa and Mines?
Bro, this one's interesting to me because they split. And they weren't close games either way. First one, Mines won by 12, and then the second one, Mesa won by 19. My keys to that game are winning the turnover margin. Whoever can turn the other team over the most, because both teams take good care of the basketball.
Yeah, they do.
And bench points. I looked at the second game. Mesa had 36 bench points in that game. Mines is 15, and first team to 70. Like, realistically, the first team to 70 in this game wins, because both teams that have lost in this series has scored under 70 points.
Yep.
So whoever gets to 70 first, I think, will win. But it depends on really Thistlewood. I texted you last night. I think I was like, man, Thistlewood finally doing what I thought he was going to do all year in the conference. Like, I thought he was going to be more of a threat just coming from Colorado State. It is hard to transfer to a new system.
Yeah, transfer.
That's tough. But I don't know. I assume, damn, you guys got him. Okay, he's going to be a problem. And then Sullivan.
Well, I think like you said, transferring. But Mines also isn't. It's not a system where you see a lot of guys averaging 20, 19, 20 a game.
Yeah.
There not that doesn't happen, but you just don't see it a lot in their system. They do a great job of spreading it around.
Who you got?
No, to your point, the turnover things, but I think just expanding on that is who makes less mistakes just all around that, turnovers going to that, defensive mistakes, missing shots, because both of these teams are disciplined teams that don't make a lot of mistakes. So I think the ones that are able to limit those, that's going to get it done.
Yeah.
So it's honestly a toss-up, but I think Mesa, they've kind of I don't know. There's something about them. I just think these past 3-4 years in this league, they've just been able to get it done. So it's something about their culture. I think they're just going to handle it, and they're at home.
Yeah, that's a tough place to play. I just made up my mind just thinking about it, man. I'm going with Mines. Age. They got so much. They're so old, dude. Like Sullivan, Boone, all those guys played in a Elite Eight. They played in the Elite Eight. Thistlewood's played in, and Best Kind, I'm pretty sure, played in the tournament. So, like, they got experience. I think, though, I think Mines is going to go in and do some. I think you can't count these guys out, even though they've been kind of the bottom of the four. I think that they've recognized that, and I got Mines in this one.
But we've talked about it before. Mines is going to be there
always,
every year, regardless of how talented or non-talented they are. So they just find a way to be there all the time.
They're just so smart, those engineers, man. They're so smart.
Something about it, exactly. That's exactly right.
But yeah, that's my championship though. So my championship's going to be Mine's BH. So I'm in that one. I think it's hard to beat a good team 3 times, like I just said. But that one's going to come down to who wins the last 4 minutes of the game. I think it's going to come down to, it's not going to be like it was in Spearfish where BH just simply handled them. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to come down to the last 4. I'm just riding the wave, man. I think I'm riding the Yellow Jacket wave. I think BH is going to do it. I do. I think they're going to.
So you got BH to win,
crown them,
to win the tournament, huh?
Ring, yes. Put a ring on their fingers.
So you got Black Hills. You got Black Hills Mines. I have Black Hills Mesa. Who do I have to win this? Man, I have a hard time going against Black Hills too, man. I got to roll with Coach Thompson and the Jackets over there.
100 wins. Shout out Coach Thompson.
The fighting Coach Thompsons. Let's get it.
And you can't go against the Player of the Year, man. They got one of the best players in D2. You give the ball to Joel, he's gonna good things happen every possession.
I look forward to watching that. What day is that one? You got to remind me. Is that Saturday?
No, that's gonna be Friday. They play tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, then Friday, I believe.
Semifinals tomorrow. Finals on Friday.
Yep.
All right, Bush. We're gonna move on to LeBron's scoring record. We obviously started this whole Kitchen Hook podcast before or after, excuse me. This the LeBron scoring record happened. I'm gonna let you lead it off because of your text message that I received a few days ago, just saying that he has something that's going to rile some people up. So I'm going to let you have the floor.
All right. So it's good. Congrats to him. Don't get me wrong. Like, it is an impressive thing to do because he's
quick.
What?
When it starts like that, congrats to him. But this, it's going to be something. Keep going. My bad.
So you're good because you're right. But no, like, props. Like, he stayed healthy for 20 years. Like, that's a longevity award. In my opinion, like, the longevity of him has been great. Like, no other athlete has been able to take care of himself like that. But like, going back, I'm gonna bring this one out right away. Bro, MJ played 15 years. Hear me out. And Michael Jordan only played 15 years and scored 32,292 points, okay? He retired twice. That was 5 years or 4 to 5 years off that he took in his career. So let's say he played those 5 years and he played 20 years, okay? He averaged 30 points per game his whole entire career. But let's say over those final courses of the year, he averaged 28 points. Is that fair?
Wait, what? Say that again.
So over the course of his 15 years, he averaged 30 points per game.
Yeah.
Okay? Now add those 5. Let's say he played for 20 years because I'm comparing a 20 year difference thing. Add those 5 years, and let's say
he missed in the middle. Gotcha.
Yeah, let's say he averaged 28 points per game over that span of 5 years, because he was a great scorer. Like, let's just say he never got hurt. You know, he stayed at that level the whole way.
Right.
He would have scored 43,772 points. Not to mention maybe 2 more rings, but I just don't think that off of Michael or LeBron's scoring record alone, that makes him the greatest of all time. Like, I mean, if Kobe never got hurt and you do the same math, in those 3 years, all Kobe would have had to do is average 27.5 for a full 3 years. Before he got hurt, he was averaging 27 points for a 4-year stretch. Like, I can't give you the GOAT status off of just scoring points, because, like, think about it. We don't crown Pistol Pete Maravich as the greatest college basketball player of all time, but he has the most points in college basketball.
You want me to tell you what this looks like to me, Bush?
What?
You're trying to convince yourself.
No.
You're trying to convince yourself that this is the case. Because here's what's going on right now, real quick. You're arguing could-haves, which absolutely, you did the math, you know, absolutely. These are things that if, you know, Kobe didn't get hurt, MJ didn't retire, all these things. They did, though.
And, okay, second part of that is I also look at the finals stuff. Okay, that's a big thing for me, is can you get it done? I don't care what you got for your roster. There have been, Giannis did it by himself a couple years ago. Like, there have been people that can do this. All right. He is 4-6 in the finals with a losing record. 22-33, man. Like, and the other two guys, MJ's 24-11, 6-0. Kobe's 23-13. Like, I'm just saying, like, there's got to be more. I just don't crown him as the greatest. To me, it's Michael Jordan. But I don't, at the same time, this is also hard because, like, it's a generational thing too. Like, I know I'm jumping all over the place because Jordan dominated the 90s, Kobe dominated the early 2000s, and LeBron's dominated, you know, the 2010s and early 2020s.
Yeah. And so these are, you know, obviously arguments that, like, we've had thousands of times, many people have had thousands of times, in the sense of, like, all of these points have been brought up. This is where my perspective lands. I get, you know, the winning thing. He's been to the finals. What was it? 8 or 9? Was it 8 straight times? 8 straight times.
8 seasons in a row.
You know, I get he took L's in the majority of those. But he is ahead in all of these other great, you know, guys that are considered the GOATs in all of these other categories. But these times that he, you know, he's going in clearly, you know, at a shorthand, you know, like that first one he went to with the Cavs. He's clear, you know, he's fighting an uphill battle, and I get that too. But then you can make that argument for Michael Jordan. He was fighting an uphill battle for 6-7 years before he finally broke through.
Yeah. So
to me, it's like, okay, he's in front of all of these guys in all of these categories except this one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it comes in for me. But to me, so, like, touching back on the scoring record, I just think it speaks to two things. You mentioned one of them, the longevity, but I think also number 2 is the efficiency of his game. And because, you know, like, this has been talked about as well, but his game has evolved from being a guy that could score it, obviously, at a high level when he first came into the game, but he's added, you know, the 3 ball especially. He's an extremely efficient 3-point shooter now. For the amount he takes, and he's just completely evolved his game to where he's continued to be efficient throughout the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, that's what the scoring record to me speaks to, is, like, I've never seen anybody have a long career like him for 20 plus years, because he's going to do this for 3 more years at least. I shouldn't say at least. He's got 2 or 3 more good years.
To me, it depends too on like how well like his body. Okay, his body's getting old. Because that first season with the Lakers, he pulled his groin. Remember, they were like second in the West with that young team, and he pulled his groin, and then they went on like a downhill slide, and that whole team blew up. And then this year he's been battling that foot injury, and he hurts it again, and he's probably out for the season or whatever they're saying. If he can stay healthy, yeah, he'll stay at this level. But man, like you got to think of all the minutes, all the games, like all of that stuff on top of what he's done in his career. Like it is winding down, like you say, but I would even say like 1 to 2 more years, just with his health, like body health.
As well, I think that's realistic as well. At the point he is in his career, I think, one wrong injury and it could be done from there, but. For me, I always say about LeBron, like, I'll believe it when I see it when he starts slowing down, So,
I mean, once
it happens, no, I know you're not. But I know, like, man, this man, just if Bush, throw your Twitter handle up there if you're comfortable and go see some of these Twitter rants this man goes on about LeBron, especially now because he's with his beloved Lakers. And I know that frustrates you sometimes. So,
because me and Joe got into an argument because I cheer more for the damn Warriors for right now, just because I like their style of game. Yes, I hopped on that bandwagon. I'll admit it.
Warriors are my favorite team right now, too. I'll admit it.
Bro, I love watching Steph Curry play. Like Steph Curry's my hands down favorite player in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Just what he does, and Klay Thompson, like I like watching those 2 guys play, and like when they're on TV, I'm tuned in. Like I'm watching the Warriors play every playoff game. Like they're just fun to watch. And yes, we have this. I was a Laker fan. That man back there is my favorite player of all time. That's why I was a Laker fan. But ever since he quit playing, like. Truthfully, like I just stopped watching the Lakers because I didn't care as much without Kobe being on the team.
I respect that. Like you see the Lakers were Kobe for 20 years. So it's like
I shed a damn tear with when he mic dropped.
Absolutely. 60 ball. 60 ball,
I'll never forget the tweet that you sent me from Jason Whitlock's rant. Just to piss me off about that one.
I don't remember what that was.
He was saying that was the ultimate Kobe show.
It was. Though. As far as he was getting his shots up.
You have to.
Which, like at that point, it's like you let Kobe go out just hoisting him. Like,
yes, that's what he did.
Which he did, and he delivered. Which was a beautiful thing.
But like I was saying, it's not like LeBron is top 3 in my opinion. My top 3 will always be MJ, Kobe, and Jordan. In realistically, no specific order because like
MJ, Kobe, LeBron, you mean?
Yeah, my bad. MJ, Kobe, LeBron. And so like I've always stood by the side of the greatest in a generational, like in a decade's worth of time. Like Jordan realistically dominated 13 years. And then it was Kobe's turn for 13 years, and then LeBron's done it for 13 years. Like those are the 3 greatest players in the last 30-some years.
Yep. No, there's no question about it. And I think that's the majority of them. My guy Lufkin, he throws Wilt up there. You'll find some randos that.
Man. Would he still get buckets in today's game?
I think because he was like
him and like Kareem and those guys.
Oh, Kareem, yeah, dude. No one's like the hook shots. He is the only person that belonged to be shooting a sky hook every possession. Like,
just think about it. If people do it now, what are you doing as a coach?
Like good shot, like good defense. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah, exactly. You're clapping your hands if they make that shot. So like Kareem's getting buckets, but I think Wilt would too, just because he's like Giannis, but bigger, stronger, and faster. So
That's why I hate the he played against plumbers, man. They played against, okay, whatever they did, but bro, put them in today's game. Like, still the way it's played nowadays and the way it's spread out, they're still doing what they did back in the day.
Yeah, the greats are going to be great in any generation or in any
Absolutely.
era.
Absolutely.
Bush, let's move on to you got anything left on this LeBron scoring record thing?
No.
I think this is going to be we need to open this up to the people.
I'm gonna get crushed for it. For all the people that hear, I know for a fact if Kane Moorhead gets a hold of this podcast, he's gonna blow me up for this one. I know for a fact because we got into an argument a couple weeks ago in Spearfish over this. Like,
but here's the thing, Bush. Do you think it's warranted?
Probably. I mean, I'll own it. I'll accept it, but okay, I'll die on that hill. I'll die on that hill.
Exactly. That's all we need to know. That's all we need to know. And that's why we respect you.
I mean, if you, like you said, if you go back and look at my Twitter, I said I have hot takes. I just need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
With it.
But one thing about you is you'll stand 10 toes down on those takes. So,
yeah, I don't back down. Know. Even in my head, it's like Wyatt, dude. In your head, if you know you're losing the argument, I'm finding a way to win the damn thing. I will find a way to win.
And Max Mueller adopted that as well, I think, from Wyatt once he got to Spearfish.
Max is the last person I argue with. I hate arguing with him because
impossible. It just. Max Mueller, you know what you did, man. You know what you do.
For real.
He's impossible. It's just not. He doesn't even argue relevancy.
I mean, he brings up good points, but then he don't stop. He'll talk you out of the argument. He will literally talk you out of the argument.
I'm not saying he's not a good, like he absolutely, when he's got good points, he's able to make them. But like, there will be some things he'll say. It's like, just dude, that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
But no, I'm good on that one. I was sitting in my desk today, like, I'm going to talk about this.
Yeah,
I was pulling everything out.
I knew something was coming. But kind of staying on the NBA topic, man, I didn't even watch the Allstar game.
No.
I heard it was quite the layup line. But talk to us about that, Bush. What do you think?
I watched 10 minutes, and I don't even know why I watched even that long. Like, I shouldn't even turned it on. I think Jaylen Brown said it perfectly. Even Mike Malone said it, like, it's the worst basketball ever. Jaylen Brown was like, it's literally it's glorified layup lines right now.
So what's the solution? Like, what?
I mean, I don't know what changed. I really don't know what changed. Is it the way, like, people, like, maybe it's how we focus on the playoffs. Like, it's so playoff oriented. Can we get to the playoffs healthy? All that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I look back at the 10-year All-Star game and the 20-year All-Star game real quick, just to kind of give like an understanding for people that like 5 players in this current All-Star game scored 30 or more points, and Jason Tatum had 55. Yeah, 5 players on both teams scored 30 or more points. In 2013, only 1 player had 30 points, and that was KD.
Yeah,
Three players had 20 points. That was CP3 had 20, Melo had 26, and D-Wade had 21. And only 2 players had 15 shot attempts. That was KD and LeBron. And LeBron only had 18 points. And in 2003, this game went into double overtime. Well, it was 155 to 145, but KG had 32 and AI had 35. Now, if that game doesn't go into double overtime, like, that's as a competitive game. Like, it was 120 to 120 at the end of the regulation. I'll watch that. That's what a score is now sometimes.
Absolutely.
T-Mac had 29, Kobe 22. MJ, his last All-Star game, had 20, and Steve Francis had 20.
Stevie franchise.
Yes. So, like, I don't know what has changed. I think that's what has changed is the fact that, and like this game, I just labeled off that score, and the one before was 143, 149. This one was 184 to 175. Bro, that's not fun to watch.
Well, I think we've talked about it over text and stuff, but like the format, I think changes so much, at least to me. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Well,
but
they
I think
still
the
do that
format,
Elam ending, but like the form, you're right. You're right.
so I think like, I don't know. I guess I'm not sure what makes it a competitive environment some years, because I feel like there's those years where people are like, man, that was a great All-Star game, where it's close and guys are playing
hmm
hard. Like I think it was a
hmm
few years ago, wasn't it James Harden missed that three
Yeah,
or something?
it was the year that Kobe and his daughter passed away,
Oh,
R.I.P.
that's
But
right. That's right.
that was when they brought all that up. They scored
Yeah,
24 points. The target score was whoever was winning after the first three quarters. They added 24 to it.
that's
They added
right.
24 points to it. But like that's what it still is now. So they play three quarters and they start 0-0 at each quarter. Just the winner after each quarter.
Oh,
That team donates to a charity, but of the team captain's choice. But in the fourth quarter, they take the combined score of whoever's winning. Whoever's winning, they take their combined score through three quarters, and that's what the score is. Like they show the real score after the three quarters, and then they add 24 to it. Which still, like, I want bring back the old East-West All-Star game because it's good enough now. The East is good enough now,
yeah.
and
It
that's
got
why they
bad
changed.
there
That's
for a
why they
little
changed
while.
it. Realistically, that's why they changed it. And
Probably. You're probably
yeah,
right about
yeah,
that.
Kemba Walker on the East. Like Kemba's good, but like, is he All-Star material?
But it was, yeah, like I mean, I think the NBA has leveled out more in the sense of like for a while there, everybody wanted to be in the West because all of the opportunities outside of
Yeah.
basketball were in the West for the most part, other than New York. But like, yeah, it was bad there, and I think that's probably a good point is why they changed it in the first place. But I think the format is the biggest thing of what makes it competitive and what doesn't. And I think if they can keep it consistent and they find a solution or a formula that, it makes it competitive, they should stick
hmm
with that.
Yeah. No, for real. I like. Oh, side note. After I ask you this one, I do have a side note. It's about All-Star Weekend and what your thoughts on this one. I was thinking about this today, and I know it's kind of like not in what we were talking about, but the fact
We
that
can
it's
tangent.
All-Star Weekend, I think we can still talk about it. But first off, what do you think about? It's like how baseball does it. What if the winner of the All-Star, they go back to East-West, and the winner of it hosts the finals? Put a little thing on it because home court advantage in the playoffs is huge in the NBA.
Yeah. So home court advantage is decided now by the higher overall seed, right?
Yeah, well, I think who has the higher overall seed in the finals out of the
Yeah.
teams that. But so, I
Right.
mean, yeah, cool, but like put a little some like what if you put that in the All-Star game? Would it make things different or
Or money, dude. Like give them
a pay raise?
bigger bonuses or something.
If you win the
Like
All-Star game,
I'm sure if you win the All-Star game, like if you make the All-Star game and your team wins, there's probably something in their contracts that, like gives them a little boost, but like, give it a little more incentive.
yeah,
I'm sure that would, a couple more M's, they'd probably play a little harder.
yeah, something, man. And I know the play. It's not the like you can't knock the players. The players, it's like the load management thing, and we'll talk about that on another one. But like the
Mm,
players are found a loophole in the system and said, "Hey, this is where I can beat it a little bit." You know what I mean? And it's not you
hmm
can't knock the players for what the rules are. You know what
Well,
I
you
mean?
mentioned a little bit ago, getting ready for the playoffs and stuff. All-Star weekend is really close to the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, isn't it like 20 some games before the playoffs?
Yeah, 23.
So it's like,
What if
they're playing almost 60 games before the All-Star. Like, maybe move it up. So, you
put the
know,
season in half? It's an 82 game season. After
yeah,
41 games, you have a break, and then you have a 41
yeah.
game stretch.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what the players would say, like, oh, we like it where it is, or,
Yeah.
because maybe they like that long break right before
hmm
playoffs start.
Yeah. It's definitely something they need to talk about though, because it does need fixed. Because I just think of like personally, would I ever buy a ticket to the All-Star game? Hell no,
I
never.
don't think I would either.
Just unless it was like it was like, dang, I'm about to go watch 20 of the greatest basketball players in the league battle it out, and I know it's going to be a good game, but like, I'm not going to go watch people just pull up from
You
three.
got to go to the summer league runs when NBA players show up. They're hooping there. So that's more like an All-Star game than the All-Star game actually is.
For real. But my side note was the dunk contest. I miss having the stars in the dunk contest. I miss seeing like Vince Carter, T-Mac, Dwight Howard, Zach LaVine, all those guys.
So what stars would you have put in this year?
Ja Morant, for sure.
Easy. 100%. That's an easy pick.
Zion, if he's healthy, putting Zion in.
I feel like that's another easy one, yeah.
Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, like, let those four just battle it out.
Yeah, man. They put on the best dunk contest.
They did. And then after that one, it went downhill because it was like Aaron Gordon got pissed at the judges, and it was
rightfully
what it is.
He got robbed.
Oh, he did. Yes. But like, I mean, okay,
Robin
cool.
Hood.
Mac McClung, great. Duke can jump. Like I'm not gonna.
He pulled out some good ones. I'm gonna say
his dunk was nasty, but like I want more guys like that. I want more guys that can just jump out the gym, do this. Yeah. Like Jericho Sims, 2 arms through the rim, and then he like pulled open the score of 50.
How about
come on, dog?
I know you saw the overhead camera angle of like nobody getting excited for that one. Oh,
did
man.
you see? You saw
my heart hurt for him. And I was like, oh. He put so much effort into this.
He put all that effort into opening the paper and everything. He's not looking over to the players on the sideline are like looking at each other. What the hell did he just?
If they had their phones, they're probably.
I'm gonna put my phone away on that one. I'm not saving that. No, I would like to see those guys in it. The guys that.
I will also say this about the dunk contest. I feel like it's gotten to a point, especially with like. Where it's gone from like, Vince Carter being in it in the 2000s and all that to where it is now. It's gotten to a point where we've seen so many dunks and like guys have gotten so creative that it's like. I
mean, yeah, you're right. That's a good point. What if they brought the dudes off of, I think, I don't know who it was. It was Steve. Someone said it like, go around the streets of New York or find professional dunkers that would do it. Like,
like you see them on TikTok and Twitter and stuff. I'm sure they're doing the scorpion dunk behind them.
Yeah, go find those guys would be cool. Okay, if you're not going to bring the stars in, those guys would be cool. But because, like you said, we've seen almost everything, and it's not like guys in the league are going to sit there and practice dunking 24/7. They're doing other things.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't want to necessarily spend my All-Star weekend doing the dunk contest or the skills competition either.
I'll do the 3-point contest. That's easy.
I would bust you. I'm lefty right now on the camera.
Hey, side note.
Right?
You want to hear something? Because I'm about to throw him under the bus. Shout out Matthew Ragsdale. But when I was coaching him at Western last year, we had a 3-point contest at the end of the year. I drew him first round, and I knocked him out. Best 3-point shooter in the he was pissed, bro.
Ragsy.
I had to go up and hug him like, "Hey, man."
Sometimes as a coach, you got to do
what it is. I had to humble him real quick.
Yeah,
we were for 3 years. Bush, I'm a better shooter than you. All right, I have my chance. I proved it.
Bush has the kind of like the right above the eyebrow relief.
He gives me hell for this one all the time because we were playing open gym one time. And I came around the top of the key, and I caught it for 3 for game. He fouled my ass, and I made it, and I was yelling. If you bring that up around him, he just gets so hurt. Man, Bush be talking. That's Bush's highlight of his career. He be talking about that forever. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about it because I know it gets you a little riled up.
You have to. I repost. I repost when I crossed up Moses Demolic every time. Shout out Moses Demolic. Love you, man. But I caught him twice last year, man, and he was struggling.
It's funny, like when you're playing scout team and like you hit a couple shots, or like because I don't have the handles like that. I can't dribble worth a damn. So like when I'm hitting threes on these guys, or like you crossing people up, for them it's like, bro, Come on, this should be happening right now.
It hurts their pride. It hurts in here.
It does.
And that's the best part, because you have to remind them sometimes that I'm old, but I do this too,
I have played before. Yeah. I didn't play college basketball, but I know how to play a little basketball.
Yeah. Bush will serve a bucket or two, if you give him the opportunity.
Absolutely. Yep. Depends on how I'm feeling. If the legs are feeling good, then yeah, we're good.
You always say that about your knees and your legs.
I get tired.
Shooters
get
shoot.
Lazy. Absolutely. Yeah,
shooters make shots. Shot takers, or excuse me, shot makers, not shot takers.
Yep. For the one time.
One time. One time for the love.
Oh man, that's
Frazier got on me one time. Or he was laughing at me one time on the bench because I think Nico pulled up for 3.
One time?
And I was like, one time? And he goes, why do you say one time? That was not the right accent. Hold on, let me try that. I got to do a Scottish accent. That was not one time. He said, why do you say one time? I was like, dude, I don't know. I just say it.
And that's so how started it. And funny you bring Frazier up, because that's realistically how the name the Kitchen Hook even came about. Him and Joe. Yeah, served the Kitchen Hook.
So tell them the background story of the Kitchen Hook of how we got our podcast name.
So obviously we were asking you guys, and we had like 1 or 2 people send something, and it was against Tate's rules of being appropriate, so I was like, come on guys. But you got a submission? Yeah, McLeod, he said Dumb and Dumber. I was like, bro, come on.
He would.
But
McLeod, come see me. Just kidding.
We were at open gym. It was open gyms. It always happened. Like Frazier and Joe. Joe was pretty good. He kind of that hook shot, whatever Joe would get around the rim. And then one time we were playing with Frazier. And Frazier did it like he did it like 4-5 times in a row. And I don't know how it got named, but I think it was because Wyatt would always tell you, Tate, you preheat the oven to 350? hey, Hills, did you preheat the oven? I did. My oven's been preheated for the last 30 minutes, and so that kind of welcome to the kitchen hook shot. That's where it all came about at BH.
Wyatt.
That was so funny, dude. I was thinking about that the other day when I thought of the name and I texted you. I was like, man, Wyatt would always tell Tate, man, did you preheat the oven? 350.
Did you preheat the oven? 350.
I don't know why. Those dudes always burnt pizzas over there anyways.
Yeah. They didn't know what was going on over there in King Street #1.
No, King Street 2. If you know. If you don't, it's...
You know what it is.
If you don't, too damn bad.
King Street #2.
It's been the same for 6 years now.
Indeed. All right, people. We appreciate you listening if you're listening. Bush, any wrap up, any final thoughts here?
Yeah, tune in, man. Watch BH. Watch these games this weekend. This is the first time in how many years that the RMAC has had 4 teams in the top 16 that are playing in the second round. Like this is. I saw. I think it was Small College Basketball tweeted, or someone tweeted, like this region's turning into a decent like little region now with the RMAC starting to catch its pace, and I think people are realizing the talent that's in that league. So seriously, tune in tomorrow. It's going to be Mesa and Mines is first at 5:30, and then following.
They play first?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be BH and Fort Lewis, but they got the late game. It makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. Why not put yourself at the early game? You get a longer time off before.
True.
It's the George being. He's a thinker, man.
He's a thinker. Coach of the year, Mike DeGeorge. Shout
out, Mike DeGeorge, man. He's always been good since the minute he entered the league.
Oh, also, real quick before we go, we were correct on our Player of the Year picks.
Yeah.
Joel Scott did win Player of the Year in the RMAC, announced today, I believe.
Yep. That was a no-brainer.
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 Absolute no-brainer.
I'm not even going to argue it. We talked about it in episode 2, so you can go back and watch episode 2, you will hear about me and Tate's takes on. It was Joel Scott and really a cool cut. Really were the two guys that I think were voted on highly throughout the league, but Joel Scott won that one. So shout out Joel.
Yeah, nice job, Joel. Tune in, Spotify. Are we on Apple?
Yeah, we're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts, and we're on YouTube. So
on
you
YouTube.
can tune in. The video, I guess, uploads to Spotify too, but you can also find the video on YouTube. Like, follow, subscribe, help us grow this thing, because me and Hilks talked about it the other day. He was like, man, we need to I want this thing to get big. And I was like, that's the goal. I want that too. So you guys help us out.
Yeah, we just want people to listen and get involved, you know. Like we want to hear your takes as well.
Because there's not that many basketball podcasts like this out there. It's a lot of the professionals and like college guys, but there's not very many out there. So
yeah, we're talking more stuff that might be catered to maybe small college type stuff, maybe kids that aren't necessarily the NBA prospect, you know, but they're still interested in college and playing at that next level. So tune in if you're interested in that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And once this takes off, once me and Hilks get our schedules starting to get aligned, I know you're busy, I'm busy. We'll start trying to make these come out more on a planned date every week for you guys. So other than that, like, follow, subscribe. It's all 3 accounts.
Comments if you want as well.
Yeah, leave a comment. Let us know about the LeBron scoring record thing, man. I want to hear that.
Yeah, let's hear some takes.
I want to hear the heat that you guys have for me, obviously, because I know I'm going to get some of that.
Yeah, I kind of played it safe today. I apologize for that if you guys were hoping for some
I'll take the heat.
Debatable content, but
I'll battle LeBron
Bush
fan
will take
the whole
heat
time.
this time.
Yep.
All right, people. Kitchen Hook Podcast. Appreciate you.